Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. This is your friend Ebony from Nina's Bible Journal, and I am so excited to be here with you all. And I have a different type of video, so this one is going to be a lot longer. It's more of a kind of study with me, so bring your snacks, bring your drink, go to your quiet place, grab your Bible, grab your journal, and we're gonna dive in. So we're working on diving into the Psalms for summer for illustrated faith, right? And I'm gonna start with Psalm 139. I was gonna record it on my Psalmster that it will be this one, but I already have journaled already Psalms 139. So as you guys can see, is already notated. And even though I have the whole space here, I was just like, no, I'm just not gonna journal Psalms 39 in here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead, and I was able to grab one of their annotated Psalms booklet. So I'm gonna do 139 here with you all. So this is Psalm 139, and then I'm gonna be using as my resource, right, to study that 139. I'm gonna be using how to read the Psalms under how to read and understand the Psalms. This is a great book. If it's a little bit pricey, but if you can get your hands on it, I really do recommend it. Tell us what are those Psalms, different types of Psalms. What is it? What does it mean? What is exactly talking about? If it's speaking metaphorically, like what is going on, right? Usually we start praying Psalms over ourselves or over our family, which there's Psalms to be prayed for, but there's Psalms that are not a prayer. So this book will actually let you know what is the introductory of it, the different perspective of that psalm specifically. So if you go into like the one of the here in the content, it'll tell you know what Psalms go. So in this case, Psalm 72, Psalm 102, Psalm 2, Psalm 16, 45, 22, 34, 8, 40, 69, and 118. Adornment Psalms. So these were our Messianic Psalms. Didactic Psalms 37, 15, 1973, Songs of Trust 131, 62, 9, 139. And that's where we're at. We're gonna be working on the Songs of Trust. We're gonna be working on that Psalm 39 right here. So we're doing the Song of Trust, right? Here you have petition and lament. So you have, it gives you a content of where those psalms go, depending like the division. So yeah, I'm excited for this one. The good thing about this book, it will give you the psalm here for you to like notate if you would like to. In my case, I'm just gonna jump into this part, right? So that way I can annotate here. It has a few pages of it, right? So I'm gonna go read and just highlight and then move it here what it means. So this is how I'm studying the Psalms this summer. I know that a few of you have left me a comment. I want to see how do you implement like those type of books with your study. This is how I will implement. So usually I look for a book or Bible that it will coordinate, right, with the study that I'm doing, just to get a little bit more, right? Even though, right, there's an explanation in Psalm 39 from the devotional, which is beautiful, right? I'm trying to see more of the perspective and the division of what it means right here. If we see that introductory, right, it has confidence sections, right? So it has confidence is from 1 to 12, praise 13 to 18, lament 19 to 22, and there's a petition from 23 to 24. And then there's two factors date this psalm as Prixile. David is the author, and he wrote the psalm to be sung in the temple of worship. And then it gives you the survey exposition, right? The psalm broadly has two sections: meditation or reflection on God's greatness, that is from 1 to 18, and petition or lament from 19 to 24. More narrowly, the psalm consists of our stanzas composed symmetrically. Each stanza consists of 6 verses, and it gives you the stanzas here. So 139, Psalm 139, 1 to 18, David gave us 3 stanzas of meditation on the omnis of God, his him being omnisciente. I know how to say that in Spanish, but omniscience, hopefully. His omnipresence and his omniscience, omnisciente, omnipresente, and omnipotente. Hopefully I got that right. If I'm translating correct, maybe I'm not, but this is what it tells you. Then from 139, 13 to 18, in the letter of part 1 to 18, David says, I awake, which goes into the final stanza of 19 to 24. So David moves from meditation to a petition. So the second half of 139:18 seems to connote that David, having contempt that the greatness of God, awakes to the realities of this world and makes a petition. Accordingly, once again, David is hounded by his enemy. Once again, he remains in full control of his rationality and his emotion, able to compose brilliant and deeply reflective poetry. This is why the Psalms is one of the books of poetry, just as Songs of Songs, Ecclesiastics, right? Those are type of books of poetry. And then it goes back to his reflection on this divine attribute is not purely theoretical, but instead personal. God knows me. God is with me. God made me. And it is with all his mind that he finally expressed his lament and petition in the final stanza. A lament and a petition still intensely personal, yet uncharacteristic of any other lament psalms. So we're gonna go through the stanzas, right? The first stanza, God knows me. And then God is with me, God made me, and God my enemies and me. That will be the last stanza. So I love Psalms 139, right? If we read the Psalms, right, David's sounded like sometimes he will have a lot of mental breakdowns. And you can definitely rely into today's date, right? I do love the heart of David. And I love really the Psalms. That's why I am so passionate, right? This month that we're going to actually be studying, because it's the first time that I'll be actually studying the Psalms. I haven't ever done a study in the Psalms, so I'm excited for it. So I hope this background does motivate you. If it seems a little bit intimidating, do not get intimidated because I'm bringing this type of book on it. You can do it on your own. Maybe you can, one of my commentaries, one of my favorite commentaries, David Guzik. So maybe you can find one of his commentary on the Psalms, or on Psalm 39. In this case, this is how I want to study it. A little bit more intense. I don't want to say intense, but a little more in depth, right? And the stanzas are those divisions that we're going to be working with. God knows me, God made me, God is with me, my enemies, God, my enemies, and me, right? So we're gonna go little by little. So let's jump into 139, and I hope you enjoy. I will put it fast forward because I'm gonna start highlighting and adding notes, and then I'll be doing a voiceover so you guys can see the rest of it. So here we're gonna go really quick, fast forward, right, as I'm finishing the page 2 and most likely page 1. So I'm just going in with some of my crayons. Those are the distress crayons. I did figure it out that in the end, I only did one page with them as a background, just because they were really difficult for me to like write over. It was just not working, but I did like how it turned out, right? I'm gonna be stamping some flowers, nothing really elaborated with like techniques, just something really simple. I'm just using this blending brush with the distress crayons, and how I'm gonna work them. I did thought of putting maybe fabric on it, but I realized I was not going to be able to use that space, and this study was so good for Psalms 39 that I needed all the space for the notes. So I'm just going in with the stamp set. I'm using I think this color, yeah, it is Shaded Lilac, to stamp the flower just in the up corner. The bottom corner, I thought of putting maybe a phrase on the bottom, but you guys will see that I never used that. And then I'm just going in now with the notes and all the good stuff of this. So on part 1, right, David is the author. He wrote this song to be sung in the temple of worship. And then God knows who we truly are was one of the biggest things that I took from this study of the first part of it, right? Oh Lord, you have searched me. It starts how it ended. So God knows me is the first stanza that we're gonna be working. David exalts God in his omniscience. It is impossible to know. It is impossible for us to know our own heart, right? That is what David is so marveled that God knows him to his core. And it's a big reminder for us that God does know us to our core. There's nothing hidden to him. There's nothing too big or too small for him. God knows the future. Here he finds comfort on his omnipresence. David exalts God in his omnipresence. And again, there's nothing too big for the Lord. So when we go into verses more into 7, 8, we're gonna see that there's no escape from the darkness, right? There's no escape. There's no place that we can hide from God. God is with me. It's when it says, where shall I go from your spirit, or where should I flee from your presence? If I ascend to heaven, you're there. If I make bed in Sheol, you are there. I take the wings of the morning and dwell in the uttermost parts of the sea. Even there your hand shall lead me, and your right hand shall hold me. And in poetry, right, if we go now to like the other part, verse 11 says, if I say, surely the darkness shall cover me, and the light about me night, even the darkness is not dark to you. And in poetry, darkness means danger, fear, or chaos, but darkness makes no difference to God when he's explaining it here in this psalm. So this is really powerful. Now we're going to the second stanza, that is, God made me. God seems for David to be a source of comfort. So David is finding comfort in the Lord. So this is from verse 11 to 16. We're just going into the existence. He is omnisufficient for us. God is with me. God knows me. Where it talks about he knitted me together in my mother's wombs. It talks about what it means is kidney. And kidney is the meaning of a basic emotion and structure, like a figurative use of the word heart in English. And David is reflecting on the greatness and perfection of God. So this is so good. When I tell you it's so good, I'm just not, I have never studied the Psalms this like in depth, and it has been such a truly blessing. I have felt so uplifted and just can feel the presence of the Lord just surrounding me. I do have my special invitation for the special guest. We got Gagel in the house, right? Yeah. So I have my assistant with me as I'm doing this voiceover. So yeah, I do recommend you to go in and study this. If you can get this book, get it. It's amazing. This was so good. So yeah, I'll see you guys. I'll catch you guys. Fast forward to verses 17 to 24. So I'll see you guys in a bit over there. Okay, so this is fast forward, right? I was able to finish off camera this page, and yeah, so I did the first page, we did the second page. We're gonna be working now. I'm gonna do this with you guys. It's 17 to 24, the verse 17 to 24 for Psalms 139, and then the fourth stanza is gonna be God, my enemies, and me. Here it's a little bit of the recap that I worked off camera. You will be hearing that on the voiceover. So let's go to working on the other half of it, if I can find my pen. There we go. So yes, so here we're gonna work on this part, God, my enemies, and me. So I am using the minis from Illustrated Faith. They're perfect. They are perfect. I wish they will do like the whole book of the Psalms like this, or like Bibles, like Genesis, Exodus, the books of the Bible as an annotated booklet, because it's really good. I really like it. I really enjoy putting the bits and pieces in it. And if you know me, I have them since Shanna released in the shop, the little bits and minis. I have them all. I love them. Love them a lot. So I do recommend it. I use them for my studies that are not like associated with Illustrated Faith. I just use it even for sermon notes. So, but going back to this, we're gonna be working on stanza 4, God, my enemies, and me. So I'm just gonna go here and put God, my enemies, and me. And yes, I am left-handed, so yup. So this is the final. In this stanza, David turns from this extended reflection on God's to address his own situation. So here, I'm gonna put David, because I want to know what he was talking about, right? We want to know, like, what's the backstory? What was David thinking at this point, right? When we read this. And again, the book that I'm using is How to Read and Understand the Psalms, from Bruce K. Walter and Fred Zappel. So I really like it. So here we have David. I'm left-handed, so I'm trying to find a way where I can see and notate at the same time. David turns from David turns from his reflection on God to address his own situation. So David turns from why did I put an F there? No worries. Reflecting David turns from reflecting on God to address his own situation. And then we should know that by the end of the third stanza, David says, I awake and I'm still with you. And it's the 18. If I will count them, they are more than the sand. I awake and I'm still with you. So I'm using the milk liner from Zebra. And I awake still with you. How precious are your thoughts? Okay, and then we go into revealing God's presence with him has been on his mind through the Psalms. So that's something important that I do want to notate down. And I'm going to use one of the shapes here. So I'm going to be working on God's presence with him has been on his mind through the Psalms. So that's something that we're going to see, especially on verse 18 when he says, if I could count them, they are more than sand. I awake and I'm still with you. So in this point, David is still, when he wakes up, right, he's still revealing this, that his God's presence is still with him and has been on his mind through the Psalms. And he knows that the Lord is with him. I just love this so much. So I'm gonna put God's presence. And throughout the Psalms. So verse serves as a Genesis as a transition to the real world of the wicked that surrounds him. Here he expresses desire for God's help and the removal of his enemy. Here it's, oh, that you will slay wicked, O God, O man of blood, depart from me. They speak against you with malicious intent. Your enemies take your name in vain. Do I not hate those who hate you, O Lord? And do I not loathe those who raise up against you? I hate them with complete hatred. I count them my enemies. Search me, O God, and know my heart. Try me and know my thoughts, and see if there be any grievous way in me, and lead me in the way everlasting. I like this. Oh my God, I love this. Because how do we start this psalm? Oh Lord, you have searched me and known me. And in the end, sorry, they're doing my lawn. In the end, David goes back to the Lord. Search me again, O God, and know my heart. Try me and know my thoughts, and see if there's any grievous way in me, and lead me in the way everlasting. I love this so much, but we'll go there in a minute. So, so I really, really like this. So, So my visitor came in. Little one is running around seeing what he can grab from the desk. So here we're gonna put we're gonna go ahead and highlight the wicked depart from me, they speak against you with malicious intent. Your enemies take your name in vain. So here we're gonna put, here he has expressed his desire for God's help in the removal of his enemies. So here here he expresses, here he expresses his desire enemies. And then obviously David is on God's side, so that will be a good note. David is on God's side. And then here, David does not occupy a neutral position with regards of God's enemy, but lines up with God's against them. In this, he exemplifies a virtue of righteous indignation. His prayer now, this is his prayer from 19. Start of prayer. I'm gonna put prayer. Because before that he still wasn't praying. Now this is his prayer. Start on 19 to 22nd. End of prayer. I'm gonna put here. Prayer. There we go. So we got from the 19 to the 22nd is where his prayer starts. His prayer is that God's kingdom will be established and he will be done in earth as in heaven. And we can cross reference in Matthew 6:20. And then the greatness of his God demands that all enemies will be eliminated. But if God knows us truly, David's described in the previous stanza, David's concern turned himself also. And then 23 to 24 is where he actually goes into worship. Genuine worship. So I want to put here genuine, and I'll highlight it on the book because I get lost too. Genuine worship. So then here I go. Genuine worship, and then his prayer. God's kingdom will be established and will be done. We're gonna make a note on that. We can cross-reference to Matthew 6:20, as I said. David's concern turns to himself also. He pauses. He wonders whether he is truly allied with God. And then here, John 21:17, Acts 17:24 to 31. Those are cross-reference that you can go ahead and study more into depth if you want to. So instead of attempting to flee or hide, he calls God to lay bare his heart, to search him again, to determine if there's any waywardness in him. He does not resist. He either rather welcomes God seeing all investigation. Indeed, as I hate the wicked on their way, I should find offense in him. David asked God directly his path, faithfulness, lead me in the way of everlasting. And we're gonna move this. I have some, he's here doing the study with me. Yeah, right. Praise the Lord. This petition is not a typical of the petition of lament psalm. This is really important. This petition is not a typical of a petition lament psalm, but it differs in at least 3 ways. First, David does not ask for deliverance, and I'm gonna find a way, I think in the bottom where we can put that. Second, he does not protest innocence or confess sin, but seeks the integrity of loyalty of God. And third, he asks for intimacy, that God will test the metal of his integrity against his own misgivings. That is what we finished on 23rd to 24th. Sorry, friends. My phone stopped recording, and when I checked, when I was done and I checked, it was already didn't have enough storage, so I had to delete some stuff. So it didn't record me explaining the last part of it. So I'm just gonna do a quick recap where it cut me off, right? So this psalm is a different psalm, right? It's not a typical petition lament psalm, right? And it has 3 distinctions of why, right? David doesn't ask for deliverance, right? From verse 23 to 24 is a genuine worship. He repeats again what he stated in the beginning: search me, O God, and know my heart. He does not pretend innocence or confession of sin, but seeks the integrity of loyalty to be to God. And then he asks for intimacy, that God will be in the middle of his integrity against his own misgiving. From verse 19 to 22nd, that's the start and end of a prayer, welcoming God, seeing an investigation, right? David states that he's in God's size. It talks about the people that are his enemies, right? That his desire for God's help is to remove of his enemies. Again, this prayer here is literally, it means that is the kingdom of God will be established, his will be done as on earth as in heaven. And we have it cross-referenced as Matthew 6:20, right? And then from the top, God's presence with him has been on his mind through this psalm. So I wanted to leave you with that, right? This is the finish. This one, it was the first page of Psalm 139. This is the second page, and this is the third. The only thing is I didn't do didn't color the background with the crayons because it was kind of difficult to write on them. So I just left them there and then add some bits and pieces, right? Nothing too crazy. Again, I use the little minis to cover and add my things. And then this ephemera, because it talks about search me, O God, and know my heart. I feel like I want it there, even though it show, but it's okay, it doesn't bother me. But yeah, again, everything is from this study. I didn't match it a lot with the devotional, right? I wanted to do this Psalm 136 139 with this book, How to Read and Understand the Psalms. So everything that is here, it comes from here. So yeah, I hope you have enjoyed this video. Again, this is a longer video that usually I don't post, but I did felt in my heart, and I know that a few of you have requested to see how I work with a book and how I do my notation. So this is how I work it. So I hope you enjoyed, and if you would like to see more of them, just let me know, and maybe I'll do all of them. I'll post them here. So again, thank you for being here, my friend, and I hope you have a wonderful, blessed day. Again, if you're looking to get, you can go to, I'm gonna link the Illustrated Faith shop down below. They have some stuff still in the shop, but the kits are not available anymore. But everything is available through the print and pray shop, so everything is digital. So if you maybe didn't catch it in the beginning of June, it's okay. You're still able to be part of this great study to navigate the Psalms through this summer, so you're not late. So yeah, I hope this has blessed you, right? I pray that this will touch your heart and it will speak to your heart. And it's something that you can meditate throughout this week. And again, sending much love to my friends. And I'll see you guys soon. Bye bye.